Miss Cleo Ang, age 23, who recently graduated with a hospitality degree and is now hunting for her first full-time job. Quote, I hope to retire between 50 and 55 years old. While I'm still able-bodied, I envision being able to travel around the world and do things I enjoy without having to worry about finances. You know, Miss Cleo Ang, even the rich do not stop worrying about money, so get used to it, it's normal actually. Why so? Because there's always doubt whether there's enough money or not, regardless of how much you have. There's always somebody who has more that will make us all feel inadequate. So get used to worrying a bit about money. Let's move on to a second quote. Mr. Sim. The average life expectancy in Singapore is about 83 years old. That means I'll only get to enjoy roughly 20 years of retirement life if I were to retire at the age of 65. And I think that's simply not enough. Okay, then what is enough? Or is enough purely in our minds only? And also, is it paradoxical if we say that retirement is sweeter because it is very limited? Think about that, and in today's discussion, I'll actually do the math to show you what it takes to be realistic about retirement. So if you're curious, continue watching. Hi guys, welcome back. Let's start with a discussion that is based on OCBC's wellness survey. Let me pull up a question that they've actually asked. Quote, we are Singaporeans to choose their preferred retirement lifestyle. Lifestyle A, lives and owns a HDB flat, commutes in public transport, no domestic helper, travels regionally. Lifestyle B, owns and lives in a HDB flat, commutes via taxi sometimes, and a mid-range car. Employs part-time helper and travels 3 times a year. Retirement lifestyle C, owns and lives a private property, owns a high-end car, finds a GP in a private hospital, employs a full-time maid, and travels internationally for 2 times a year. And also, enjoys lifestyle and wellness experiences. If the question was posted to you like that, what would you choose? Of course, lifestyle C, correct? Nobody in the right frame of mind would choose lifestyle A instead of lifestyle C. That's until we put up the price tag it takes to achieve each and every one of them. But the findings do not stop there. Let me pull up different age groups' feedback on how they've chosen. Let's look at the number who have chosen lifestyle C across each age band. You would realize that those who are in the age of 20s have chosen this the most, and it steadily falls. Conversely, those who have chosen lifestyle A in their 20s are the minority, and they become the majority when the person being surveyed is at the age of 55 to 65. So why is this the case? Maybe I can make some educated guesses. When we are all at the age of 20s, we don't know what we don't know, correct? That's the saying. Parents are still providing a home for us. We don't understand rent. Someone in the age of 55 and 65 have sheltered children for years and made sacrifices. What about for health? In 20s, we feel indestructible, correct? We can work 15 hours, 18 hours, no problem. By the time we get to 55 and 65, we realize we don't have that much of energy. What about job employment? When we are in our 20s, we see pay increment all the time, correct? We extrapolate indefinitely. When we reach 55 to 65, we've seen retrenchment, we've seen pay cuts, etc. etc. We become naturally a bit more pessimistic. And last but not least, when we are in our 20s, we don't quite get this fact. There is a price to pay to get what we want, correct? What we often want is always the best because we are still quite idealistic. And this finding actually shows even more details. Those who are in the age of 20s are hoping to retire at the age of 57. Very similar to Miss Cleo Ang. This number of targeted retirement becomes older because the person being surveyed is getting more and more realistic. So since we are on this point, let me demonstrate how this ideal retirement lifestyle C is not realistic for the majority of people. The price tag for lifestyle C is $5,760. This number, according to this survey, is going to inflate at 4.5%. And as you can see, 2023's number is $6,020 already. Let's extrapolate this for a further 30 years. We would realize that this number per month needed will be $21,573 per month. You heard it correct. 21,500 plus per month. For young Singaporean age of 20 plus, do note your retirement figure is 25 times of annual expenses, which means 21,573 times 12 times 25 years, which will bring the needed retirement pot to be $2.77 million. This financial freedom rule of thumb is meant to last the monies for 35 years with inflation. Because the targeted retirement age is 57 and the younger generation is expected to live even longer, I think we do need to round up this number to be around $3 million before they can retire with lifestyle C. $3 million. Daunting or not? Let me work backwards to show what it takes to get to $3 million. Again, some people can get there because they have developed their careers well, but majority of people are not likely to do so. If we were to invest for 30 years to build up this $3 million pot, and with implied 6% annualized rate of return, take a guess how much it takes per month for the next 30 years to reach that final figure. The amount per month? $3,150. Question now is, if you're in the age of 20s, are you able to set aside $3,150 per month to invest? Not just that, you have to commit for the next 30 years before you can achieve retirement lifestyle C. Scary or not? Take note again, median income in Singapore is $5,000. To save $3,150, the majority of people would not reach that, correct? And let's look at details of lifestyle C again. Owns and lives in a private property, which means this private property is already fully paid. We're not aiming to be homeless and then when we reach our 57, retired, then buy a private property, correct? We're most likely going to use current income to buy this property right now. Let's use an example that this private property is $1.6 million today and a total loan of $1.2 million is taken. I've done the homework for you to see. You would realize that monthly payments at 3% interest right now is about $5,000. If it's shared between husband and wife and there's CPF involved, the out-of-pocket cash per month is at least $1,000 already. And when we stay in a private property, there's increased property taxes, there is conservancy charges, etc., which means the total out-of-cost cash is $1,500 easily. For someone in 20s, I guess there's still a lot of dreams to travel far. There's still a lot of desire to eat good and expensive food. And last but not least, there's children that could come into the equation, correct? It is no wonder many blame high cost of living in Singapore, blame salaries are too low, or maybe all this expectation of retirement lifestyle C, which I'll flash out for you to see again, is simply unrealistic for many. But today, I'm here to deliver constructive suggestions on what you can do, correct? And before we go there, let me smash the like button and press on subscribe, especially like content like this that can help you in your financial journey. And if you like personalized, fee-based retirement planning advice, look for links below on how to reach me for a one-to-one basis. Today, I'd like to demonstrate to you what to realistically aim towards that I think majority of us can achieve. Let's demonstrate with retirement lifestyle B, which is owns and lives in a HDB property, commutes via taxi or owns a mid-range car, has enough money for medical, employs a part-time helper and can travel at least 3 times a year. Not too bad. And we'll focus this discussion for someone in the age group of 40 to 54. From the feedback again, the targeted age to retire is 61 years old, which means as a ballpark figure, there's 15 years of runway to build up assets, correct? And plan towards attaining this goal. Now, if you are doing better than most in your career, you're drawing high income, you're investing very well, then instead of considering lifestyle C first, consider pulling ahead your retirement age. I think that's a valid goal for you to consider. But let's stick with our simulation today. Retirement lifestyle B, achieve that in 15 years. How much does it take? In 15 years time, $3,355 will become $6,500 if we inflate the expenses at 4.5%. Now, one key problem with this is the inflation rate, correct? 4.5% can balloon a number up very aggressively. I would like to challenge that notion and suggest inflating this at 3.5% only. Right now, inflation rate is coming down already, and CPF uses 3.5% to project full retirement sum growth anyway. But the key thing is this, sometimes our lifestyle actually impacts inflation. Many a times people ask me, are there solutions to fight against inflation or not? I would say usually that the best fight against inflation is to be adaptable. Take for example, a premium bag of rice costs $10. That premium bag, which is good quality, is going to inflate at 7%, etc., etc. because it's a good, in-demand premium brand. But we also know, correct, that there are low-cost alternatives like house brands. These are fighting on the low-cost proposition and do not inflate that much. The NTUC FairPrice brand will be costing $5.80 only and would inflate at a much slower pace. So again, the best fight against inflation is to be adaptable and choose the low-cost option when it arrives. Then the second thing to note, again, is for all these descriptions, the retiree owns and lives in that property, which means no more mortgage, fully paid. Now, I'd like to suggest some flexibility in terms of thinking. If you stay in a condo now and you are not too ready for retirement, be more open to downgrading. It will free up for you a lot of cash flow. My own parents-in-law downgraded from a condo and stay in a HDB flat right now. It's really not such a big deal. In fact, staying in a HDB flat has so many benefits, especially for elderlies. So don't be too rigid, be open if you need to downgrade in future. But let's go back to the point of aiming for $6,500 per month to be achieved in 15 years. What kind of investment journey is needed? In a previous video I've done before on CPF projections, it is likely that full retirement sum for the person will pay around $2,200 per month for the CPF Life Standard Plan. That means also that the Enhanced Retirement Sum Standard Plan will be $3,300 per month because it's 1.5x, correct? Sounds good, but the problem with CPF Life is it pays from 65 onwards. There is a problem before 65, which you can see from this chart over here. Up in dark blue is if someone has enough for ERS. In light blue is someone with FRS. The pink color target is where we're going to discuss a bit deeper on how to build a dividend portfolio. And of course, most people have certain annuity plans and endowment plans. I'll use the green part at the bottom to simulate a cash flow from there. So the question is, can someone retire age of 60 and 61? CPF Life only pays from 65, correct? How to solve this yellow region needed in terms of cash flow? Let me throw some suggestions. The first is to consume extra cash on hand. The second is to consume extra investments on hand. Take note again, these assets can be liquidated and consumed. You don't need to keep everything for the next generation. It can sometimes make the equation too difficult to achieve. The third is to consume extra CPF SA on hand after CPF shielding. But again, that's not too easy, especially if the ERS is targeted. And also not easy if someone is carrying a big mortgage loan. That is why, again, when you buy a private property, the mortgage cost itself will suck up a lot of your CPF. Or how about this? Downgrading for capital to fill up that yellow column, or to do reverse mortgage on your property. Well, that's a price to pay, correct? If there's not enough cash flows for retirement and you want to get there. So again, today's discussion is be realistic and to understand the price to pay. With that answered, let's target the real problem for today, which is this pink zone over here, dividend income from a portfolio. I've mentioned over there, $30,000 per year. That can be achieved simply with 4% per annum yield from a $750,000 portfolio. But the first question is how to get to $750,000, correct? What is the journey? What is the price to pay? Don't worry, I've done the math for you and let me review it to you. If you have 15 years of runway and you can invest at 6% per annum, which means a pretty aggressive equity portfolio, you would need to commit $2,700 per month to build up this $750,000 dividend portfolio. Depending on your income level right now and your family situation, this $2,700 could be achievable or not. But most people at the age of 45 do not start from zero. If starting from zero, that means fundamentally there are some problems already in terms of budgeting and saving. I think more likely than not, someone at the age of 45 will at least have a $200,000 investment portfolio already. So what is the journey needed to build up this? That answer would be $1,000 per month for 15 years at 6% per annum return. Systematically invest at this pace, you will build your 200,000 pot to $750,000. Much better, correct? Something that can be worked on. It reinforces again, when we do investing or dollar cost averaging, it should not be 200, 500, it should be at least $1,000. And it also reinforces this. Start investing earlier, the journey becomes easier. This entire graph has not factored in a few things, which include bank interest and SRS amounts that could be in your situation. If you have learned something, smash the like button and leave your thoughts and comments in the sections below. And since you stay with me right to the very end, I'd like to answer this question. What if you want to travel more earlier? Can it be done or not, rather than waiting for 60 or 61 to fully retire? Yes, it can be done, and there's a simple answer to it, which is semi-retirement. Semi-retirement is a thing I mentioned a lot on the channel. If you've been a fan for the longest time, you've seen me do multiple presentations on semi-retirement. In my opinion, government also wants us to have semi-retirement because they have so many grants, so many workfare bonuses that encourage elderly to be active in the workforce. It is really not healthy to fully retire and have no identity and no goal in mind. So the answer to semi-retirement at the age of 55 can be seen with this new graph instead. I've changed certain parameters. The pink dividend portfolio has a shorter runway. That's why $2,500 per month is needed for 10 years instead of $1,000 per month for 15 years. The annuity plan needed is also slightly larger already if you do aspire to retire a bit earlier. This reinforces you do need to save very hard early. There's also a new blue line that I've drawn over there. If you're willing to take simpler options, like what I mentioned, your lifestyle may inflate at 3.5% instead of 4.5%. That means again, no private doctor in private hospital, no maid, etc., all as a price to pay to reach semi-retirement earlier in a comfortable manner. So how does this actually work? That will actually be in the purple region over there. What we know is CPF Life pays from 65 onwards. If you want semi-retirement from 55 to 65, simply look for a part-time income that pays $2,200 to fulfill that gap before CPF Life kicks in. You can work on certain months, you can do a simpler part-time job, and still spend a lot of time traveling the world. Having said that, I still need to mention, you will still have some worry about finances, but you're still taking active steps to make sure that numbers still fit for the long term. Hopefully this has inspired you in some way or another, and as always, if you're looking for fee-based advice, look for links below, and I'll sign up from here. Check out these previous videos I've done also on retirement that could help you in your journey, and I'll see you there too. Take care as always, goodbye.